Welcome everyone to our series titled Code Store. I have designed this series which covers stories from my life with an intention to assist you with my experiences and lessons, more so how my failures can help you avoid yours. Join me today on a journey of the title of the session is Same Errors. Many years ago, while I was fairly new in my corporate career, one of the things that I found myself experiencing over and over again was the committing errors, meaning I was at committing the same mistakes again and again, regardless of the negative results that they were bringing to me. If I find it difficult to deal with a toxic boss, I would either stay silent or sulk, get anxious, but I never thought of finding a better way to deal with my toxic boss. Neither did I ever thought of quitting my job. This thing went on till I really became hardwired with this habit of putting up with any nonsense that's thrown my way. Because somehow I guess I felt silence was like being in a safe zone. Many years passed by, and then from one job I moved to another. New role, new job, new people. Things went well. But after a point, the same incorrect behaviors of mine came up, where if in case I do not really find anything that was in sync with my values, or I'm having a difficult time with a client, or there is some kind of an issue with my boss who I really find it very difficult to deal with, specifically those people who really are quite political, I would resort to the same old behavior, the same old typical behavior of becoming a recluse, going into a kind of zone where I won't speak up, but I stay in a continuous web of stress and worry, which led to increase of my anxiety, which was already on a peak. So this constant behavior of uh, committing the same errors again and again was something that was playing heavily both on my body and mind. One of the things that I did not really realize while I went through these rough patches in my early on in my career was, now when I look back, I realize that it was not that complicated or difficult to really deal with it, provided I had sought out some kind of an external help. This is a very common behavior most of us resort to, specifically when we are new in our jobs or in our careers. We sulk, we keep things to ourselves, or we try to block all our emotions. So if at one end, speaking our mind all the time is not a good practice, on the other end, staying silent and thinking things will get well on their own, some sort of a miracle may happen, is also not equally good. It's the best way is the middle path, wherein we seek help of a mentor or a coach who could show you a mirror, who could help you understand what are the patterns that you may not be aware of, but still you are repeating it, you are doing it on a consistent basis. And in the parlance of psychology, it is called the blind spots. So it is that part of ourself that even though we are exhibiting it, even though we are demonstrating it and working towards it, we seldom realize how we are being perceived by others, or where is it that we are really going wrong, and what exactly is it that is landing us up in such troubles. For me, if I was having a constant issue of a toxic boss or a difficulty in dealing with a particular challenge, they were entirely not my boss or the job at to be blamed. A large chunk of that was my own blind spots, which I failed to see. And then when I sought help, where my coach helped me look at those patterns and understand, is where I realize how I could have had moved things into a different direction and could have not really gone through the same consistent pattern of repeating the same errors again and again. So, not really reaching out, not really seeking help, thinking we can do everything by ourselves is one of the grave mistakes that I did early on in my career. I have found many people doing the same. So, here's my request: seek help. One of the very, I mean, one of the key lessons that I learned from this particular experiences was, first thing, my coach taught me a lot more beyond these lessons. But one big takeaway, and I still practice it, is whenever we are amidst some kind of an obstacle or some kind of a challenge or issue, be it with the person, with the client, with the boss, with our work itself, one of the best ways to figure out a more feasible solution is to look at the problem from different dimensions. Now, this one, the moment I have had implemented this in my life, and I've been practicing it over for many, many years now, this particular approach of looking at an issue has really helped me solve many problems, not just that, even the most complex ones, which I never thought I'll be able to. So, friends, my biggest takeaway was this, and I hope it may be for you as well. Look at an issue from different dimensions. If you really find yourself stuck in an issue, not really being able to find a proper problem or a solution out of it, a proper solution to the problem you're facing, uh, and the different dimensions will not really come on its own. We need help. As human being, regardless of how um, talented or competent we are, we're still a human being, and we have a limit beyond which we cannot really use our intellect or all our capacities. So we need help, and there is no shame in seeking it. In fact, the more you seek help, the better your perspectives become, the more awareness it brings to you. And not just that, you will find a lot of success coming in from all dimensions in your life when you learn this of looking at one particular issue from various dimensions. It might sound very simple, but it has a very deep and profound effect. And this was one of the biggest lessons that I learned in this particular phase of my life. Plus, when I mentioned to you about blind spots, it's that part of our inner self which we may not be fully aware of. And sometimes when we are stuck in some particular issue of our life, we seldom pay any thought to it, that is it that any of my blind spots are at play. So here again, a coach or a mentor and external help can help you know your external self awareness of how you are perceived, and avoid using the same coping mechanisms. The way I was caught up in a vicious circle of repeating the same errors, I request you to not do that. Instead, reach out and seek help. Thank you, friends. This was a small episode from my early on corporate life. I hope you got to learn something from it. If you ever find anyone, kind of going through a similar issue, connect. These are my coordinates, and you can also write to me on the email address that you see on the screen. I usually read all my emails, and you never know. You may, with your connect, find a solution to the issue that you've not been able to solve so far till date. Thank you.